Good evening, everyone. So I'm just okay. Once my lecture is complete, I asked you all that whatever question you want to ask, that you can keep with you and you can ask me after the lecture. Okay. And one more thing which I seriously and honestly I want to know from you guys, that if in this particular lecture, if you have learned something new, then you can tell me, and if you had any query, that also you can ask me. And another thing, this lecture might be useful for those who are in LLM, or who just who are in the verge of completion of their masters and they want to pursue their PhD. So this can be interesting topic for them also. You can conduct further higher studies or further research in this particular research topic. So today I'm going to discuss about gender inclusivity in Indian's law, address of rights and challenges of third gender. So the first thing is that whenever we talk about gender, okay, so many people had a misconception regarding the term gender. Some think that gender, most of the people, it's a general concept that gender is a term that is actually created by our society. Okay, because when we talked about sex, it's clear to everyone that sex is something which is assigned at the time of birth, and normally we call it as a natal sex, because on the basis of the genital and on the basis of the chromosome, because we all know for male it is XY chromosome and for female it is XX. Okay, so on the basis of the this chromosome and on the basis of the genital this appearance, sex is assigned to a child the moment the child is given birth, or the moment the child is this is born. But coming to gender, gender is something different. So gender means what? That what you feel about yourself. Okay, and in society, generally the members of the society, they generally assign the gender on the basis of masculinity, on the basis of femininity, because what the society members think that male, those who are male, they are strong in nature. Okay, they can do anything, they are strong in nature, and that is the reason they are masculine in nature. And coming to female, most of the members still now they think that female means they are very weak, they're of weak nature, they need support, they can't do work like male, so they are from feminine. So this is the thing. So the thought of the society members related to gender and scientific. And if we talked about the scientific meaning of gender, the scientific meaning of gender is something different, where the person, the natal sex that has been assigned to you, okay, you feel something different in that. Maybe I am a female by birth, I am a female, but when I see myself in front of mirror, I don't feel comfortable being a female. What I feel that I am comfortable in male dress, I am comfortable like how the male behave, like how the male behave, what kind of act they do, I like that. So in that case, whenever you feel something different apart from the sex that is assigned to you, that is gender. That is gender. And as you know that apart from this male female, we had another party, another person that we have been categorized as third gender. Now the thing is that who are this third gender? What is the reason that why we have assigned this particular category of people as a third gender? Because gender means masculine or feminine, male or female. We know that there is two kind of natural sex, male or female, and on the basis of the physical the appearance, on the basis of what the society people think about it, we have already assigned in the gender. But apart from all this, we had another set of people who are different from male and female. Generally these are those people who have problem, who had a medical problem, medical issues, and that is the reason, because of that medical issues, they are different from other male and female. And when we talk about these medical issues particularly, we know that whenever there is any festival, like after Diwali you can say, or whenever a new baby is born in a family, you might have seen this hijra. Normally, we used to call this third gender people as hijra. In some part of the country, you will find their name as kinner. These are the local name you can say that has been given to them. And if you talked, if you can give the English name, then in English they are known to as eunuch. But I will discuss later that eunuch is something different than third gender. That I am going to discuss in my later slide. Now, coming to this third gender are those person who are different from male and female. And if I talked about them, so here in India, we used to call them as a kinner, we used to call them as a hijra, and sometimes we used to call them napunsuk. And maybe in other state, they had a different name also. And now you will find that international platform, in international law, international platform, you will find that every person who are not male or female or who think themselves as a different from other, okay, so including everyone, a single term has been given to them, and that term is known as transgender. So that is an umbrella term which has been used for all transsexual people. You can say that's gay, lesbian, this third gender, queer group, all they are under this particular term, this transgender. Okay, and in my discussion, I will also tell you that why these third gender people should not be included in transgender, and what is the ground and in which ground I am telling you that also I'm going to discuss here. Now, as I say that eunuch is the English term, and this term is different from this hijra, because generally eunuch are those people who are intentionally castrated to serve in the harem of the royal family. So these are the person who intentionally this cut their private part so that they can work in the royal family. They can work in the harem of royal family. Okay. And who are these hijras? These hijras are the people who are suffering from a kind of medical issue that we can call it, and this medical issue is known to be as hermaphroditism, and hermaphroditism is a disorder related to sexual development. So this is a medical condition which make this third gender people different from other prenatal sex, other natal sex. Like why they are different from male and female? Because they are having this problem. As I say that male had this XY chromosome and female had XX chromosome. But in their case, you will find that their chromosome is different in number. So that is the reason, because of that chromosomal problem, the reproductive part is not that fully developed. The reproductive part consists of some part of this testicle, some part of vagina. So because of that reason only, you will find that they had half appearance of male, half appearance of female. And they are the person who are of in this basically, if I say in simple layman language, if I explain, so these are the person who had a disorder of their sexual development. They are suffering, they had a problem in a disorder of sexual development, and because of that reason only their appearance is different from other, and they have apart from this, you can say they are totally normal, they are not handicapped. But what problem they are having? They had a problem of physical appearance, and they had a problem in the reproductive part, and all because of this chromosomal problem. Okay, so that is the reason you will find that most of the hijra people, okay, they looks physically like a man, but they had a feminine nature. You will find that they always wear sari, they always wear salwar suit, they used to do makeup like a this female. That is the reason, because by physically they look like male, but what they think about themselves, how they feel about themselves, that they are female. That is the reason they just try to do they try to do makeup like a female. So this is basically the medical condition which make this people different from other sex. And because of and this is the only reason I say that hijras are different from eunuch, because eunuch are the people who are intensely castrated, and these are the hijras are the people who are who are medically, they are suffering from this disorder. Now, as we all know that nowadays, even still not nowadays, it's happening from long back. In many families, still now, hijra, when we talked about hijra, when we talked about napunsak, okay, many family, they don't take it as a welcome, but they don't like to see the hijra. So some people fear to talk to them, because for them they might be a criminal. They don't like to talk with them also. So these are the, you still now you will find that there are some kind of negative image in the mind of normal person. Although being from legal background, we are educated, so we are aware of the issues what they are facing. But still now you will find many families where hijras are not welcome in open heart. Okay, but the thing is that, whether the question is that, whether during, if we talked about ancient times, whether during our ancient times also there was same feeling relating to this, this third gender people, whether their position was not good during, during the ancient times. So here you will surprised to know that, if I talk about our Vedic literature, if I talked about Hindu religion, if I talked about Vedic literature in our Hindu religion, you will find that our Vedic literature, okay, you will find the description of third gender there. Yeah, in our Vedic literature, you will find a description of first, second, and third gender. Yeah, the first gender, if you read, if you go through any, if you had a chance to do further research in that, you will find that Pams Prakriti. Pams Prakriti in English, it means male. It's a Sanskrit term, Pams Prakriti, and in English, it means male. Another is, just a minute, Stri Prakriti. Stri Prakriti means in English, it's female. And Titya Prakriti. Titya Prakriti in English means third sex. So you will find that these are the information that has been already there in our Vedic literature. It means somewhere we already, the things that the Supreme Court has given a judgment in 2014 that these hijra people, they should be given a third gender. But if we check our Vedic literature, you will find that already they are in the text as a third gender from the beginning. It's not something that new we have assigned to them. If we talked about literature, it's already there. There have been, this concept of third gender, third sex already in our religious text also. Now the thing is that, when we talked about the third sex in the Vedic literature, you will find that they are known as neutral gender, and the member of these states were called Napunsak. So the term Napunsak also has been given during the Vedic literature, and there in this literature, they have mentioned third gender as a neutral gender. And even you will find, if you believe in astrology, so in astrology, on the basis of the ninth planet that is available in our solar system, that ninth planet is also divided into male, female, and third gender. So you might be interested to know about it. Yes, our planet is also divided into three categories: male, female, and third gender. So sun, Jupiter, and Mars, they are assigned to be as a masculine gender, means they are the male. And the moon, Venus, and Rahu are assigned to be as a feminine gender. And Mercury, Saturn, and Ketu, these are assigned to be as a third or neutral gender. And not only that, as I say that, the in Vedic literature, we already had the concept, we already had, this thing has been, the third gender has been mentioned in our Vedic literature. But apart from that, I hope you all have heard about Lord Ayappa. This is one of the famous temple in South also, and most of the South Indian people, they worship Lord Ayappa also. Okay, so who is Lord Ayappa? So Lord Ayappa is the Vishnu avatar in the form of female Mohini. Okay, so you can find this concept of third gender in not only in the Vedic literature, but somehow we are worshipping them, our god. There is an example in the temple also. The Lord Ayappa is the example here, that how Vishnu has taken avatar in the form of Mahini, and now we are worshipping him as the Lord Ayappa. Apart from that, you might have heard about Sri Ardha Narishaba, that is half Shiva, half Parvati. There is another example in how we are worshipping it, but still we had a this negative image in the mind that this third gender, they are from criminal background, they are not good like us, they are not, the way we are living, they don't have that standard. So this is something, the negative image which have been created in our mind. But who has created this image in our mind? Who has created this negativity in the society? Because if I whatever we have learned from our ancestor, that is passed from generation to generation, but there was a break in that generation. Because of that break only, this misconcept, this miscommunication has been passed in the society relating to their third gender. Apart from this, this Vedic literature, apart from this god, there are some other example from, you can take the example from Mahabharata. I hope you all have heard about Sikhandi story, who was the reason behind the death of Bhisma Pitama. Okay, you might have known that when Sri, you can find a similar example from Ramayana also. So there also you can find the, this hijras with the blessing. There is a saying that whatever the hijra people, they give the blessing that used to be fulfilled. But from where they get this blessing? They got this blessing from Lord Sri Rama. And because of his blessing only, now it is says that if the hijra give good blessing, that will also fulfill. If they say that any negative to you, that will also fulfill. So it's good that you always try to give whatever they are asking from you. But that is something, it's because of the fear that has been created. बिकॉज़ लोगों को लगता है कि अगर हम उनको नहीं दिए, वो हमारे साथ गलत करेंगे, हमको गलत बोलेंगे। बट द थिंग इज़ दैट व्हाई दे विल से रॉन्ग टू इफ यू आर नॉट डूइंग एनी रॉन्ग टू देम। सो देयर इज़ ए गैप फ्रॉम one generation to another generation. And that gap, the gap because of which this people has suffered so much, even still now they are suffering. Although Supreme Court has given judgment, we all know about it. Even you all also know about that judgment that I will discuss later on also. They had this transgender act also, but after that also, still now you will find that most of these third gender people, they are still suffering. They don't have some basic right that we had. Now, when we talk about third gender discrimination, so as I say that there is a gap. Generally, when we talk about our society, it has been seen that, as I say, that already in our Hindu Vedic literature, even in many religious texts, you will find that they have been, they have been described in a well way. And even in Hindu society as well as in Mughal period also, these hijra people, they have enjoyed their right in a full pledge. They don't even face any problem during that time. But it was during the Britisher period when the British came here, then only their bad luck, I can say, that was started. Only the British people they came here, because these Britishers about this hermaphrodite condition, because for them it was totally new. Even they don't have any literature leading to that, because as I told you, we had a literature in our ancient medical text Charak Samhita. You will find the reference of this hermaphrodite people in Charak Samhita. Even in Narada Smriti also you will find the context of this third gender. But for the Britisher people, they were not aware of it. For them, they are different. But still the Mughal period, this third gender people in our society, they enjoyed every single of their right. Even in the Mughal administrative, some of these Hijras people, they hold a good position also, administrative position also. There is a case because and this case is very much important, and this case is famously known to be as Burha murder case. Okay, and you can search this case in the name of Government versus Ali Burks. Actually, if I say the beginning of this bad luck or the beginning of the ill faith of this entire third gender community was started from this particular case. That is Burha murder case. And even when I was at college, I was not aware of this case, Burha case. It was recently when I started doing research in this particular area, then only I came to know about it. So why this case is important? As you all know that for this Hijra community, they had their guru. They generally had one guru, and under her, you will find many disciples are there. So Bhura was also one such guru, and she was having two disciples under her, and she was having one boyfriend also. His name was Ali Bucks actually. Okay, but when the day when Burha was murdered by Ali Bugs, okay, and why she was murdered? Because Burha left Ali Bugs for some another person, and Ali Bugs was not, I know, he was not ready to accept that why Burha has left him. Because of that reason only, Ali Bugs has killed Burha. And when this matter went to the court, okay, British, they accept that Alibux has killed Budha. But another thing was that they didn't accept that relation between Budha with Alibux as a, natural way. Because what they think that sexual relation can be done only between male and female, not between this third person or a male. For them, Budha was something, a person who is a criminal nature. He appears to be as a female, but he was not female to them. For them, he was a male. And from this case only, this was the case which laid the foundation of bringing of Criminal Tribes Act 1924. Because after this case only, wherever the Britisher, wherever they find any third gender begging somewhere or dancing somewhere for their, earning, they used to take them, they used to put them in the prisoner, they used to counsel them. They have, like, you are a male, you have to be like a male, because they don't take it as a, right manner. And because of that reason, you will find, apart from this Burha case, there are many other cases also that has laid the foundation of this Criminal Tribes Act of 1924. But Burha case is one of the landmark judgment which has laid the foundation of bringing the act of this 1924 Criminal Tribes Act. And according to this Criminal Tribes Act, apart from the other tribes, this third gender community, this hijra community, were considered to be as a criminal under this particular act. And if anywhere any person is found to be as hijra, they were arrested by the police officer. So this act led them the beginning of a thought that hijras or the third genders, they are from criminal background. कहते हैं ना कहीं से एक शुरुआत होता है. तो अगर मैं ये बोलूं कि थर्ड जेंडर को वो जो सोच है लोगों के मन में कि थर्ड जेंडर्स क्रिमिनल है, उनको देख के डर लगता है, दे आर नॉट ऑफ गुड नेचर, ये जो सोच है ना, ये जो सोच को हमारे मन में डाला गया है, this fear has been created in our mind by the Britisher, and because of that reason only this act was enacted. और रहा और भी कुछ अगर बचा था कि लोगों के मन में कहीं पे कुछ अच्छा भी रहा होगा, इस एक्ट के आने के बाद वो सारा चीजें फील हो गया, that has been filled. But although later on this act was repealed after the independence, हमारा देश आजाद होने के बाद this act was repealed, but still the stigma that was associated with this third gender people, that they are criminal, okay, still that was continued. It was continued. And another thing is that what I have found during my research is that somewhere, whatever they have suffered, the stigma, you can say, the mental trauma, the social trauma, like still now we have not accepted in a full-fledged way. So all this was because of this particular act, because this act has created really a negative impact in the society about the third gender. Now, if I talked about this post-independence, yes, many NGOs are there who has fought the right, or who has raised their voice in favor of third gender, because they are human beings. We know this UDHR, what UDHR Article 1 speaks about, that every person who has born as a human had equal rights. And third gender, they are also human being, and they had the same right like us. Even our Indian Constitution also speak the same way. Article 14, Article 21 are there. So why they should be treated differently when they are human beings? They are like us. They are from us only. And it was for the first time in 2014 in the National Legal Service Authority versus Union of India, Supreme Court has assigned this third gender people or this hijra community as a third gender. So this was a milestone judgment. After this Burha murder case, see the gap, see the time duration, the generation gap, the problem they have faced during that time just to get this identity. Not it will not correct to say that identity है. यहाँ पे ये बोलना सही होगा जो उन्होंने खोया था पहले वो वापस उन्होंने पाया. As I say, I have already discussed that in our Vedic literature में already उनके बारे में बताया गया है. They have been assigned to be as a third gender, but वो गैप बना. उस गैप के बाद now this judgment has given again their identity back as a third gender. And in Navtesh Singh Johar versus other in Union of India, it was says that under 377, these homosexual people, they will not be punished. So this was the landmark judgment. And after so many effort, this Transgender Person Protection Act 2019 has come. But even though this act is there, but this act also need to be, many lacunas are there actually, because when you go for field study, you will find that still now this transgender people, they feel difficulty. This third gender people, they feel difficulty in property rights. There are many other issues they are facing. Even as I said that still now our IPC or BNS is also not gender neutral. So if we want to give them the protection, in that case, our law should be no gender neutral, because we don't have only this male or female, we had this third gender also. And whatever this offense says has been mentioned in Transgender Act, okay, you will find that punishment is very less. The punishment is very less. So somewhere you will find that even though we had this act, even though we had this judgment, but if I talked about the protection of their rights through this act, through this judgment, so you will find that this act is not sufficient to protect the transgender right entirely. And maybe the reason is that one reason is that still now there is lots of scope to do, a field work here, because unless and until you entered or you met them, you entered in that community, you will not understand the problem they are facing. Yes, there are many people who are fighting for their right, but if I talked about you or me, how much effort we are putting to know about the difficulty? We are not putting that much of effort. Unless and until we all together put our effort to protect their rights, they will not get the legal protection. Yes, laws are there, but that is not sufficient. Laws has been created, but my this finding says that these laws are not sufficient to protect or to provide protection to them. Now, as I say that all pupils are born equal, and we have already discussed about this hermaphroditic condition of this transgender pupil, okay? And Article 14 also says that law should be equal for those who are equal. For unequal, you have to provide different laws, okay? And because of that concept only, we had this Person with Disability Act also, okay, where we are providing, this protection to disabled person, because our Indian constitution speaks about it. Every person should get equal opportunity in terms of right, equal opportunity in terms of job, education, everywhere. So that was the reason this act was bring forward, so that disabled person can get this equal opportunity like a physically fit person. But here also, if we see the definition of disability that has been given under section 2 subsection 1 I, you will find that disability means only blindness, low vision, leprosy cured, hearing impairment, locomotor disorder, mental retardation, and mental illness. Now the thing is that this hermaphroditic condition is not fit in this definition. But yes, one thing that is fit under this definition for third gender is that the mental agony, okay, the mental agony that they're facing because of different from other. So this thing can be considered. And another thing is that because of the appearance, they are not welcome everywhere. But yeah, as I said that this topic or these issues need more research here. But if I talk about current Indian Disability Act, yes, currently hermaphrodite condition is not considered under the disability. But yes, if we have to argue for the benefit of the third gender pupil, we can argue on the basis of mental illness only. Not I'm not saying that they are mentally unfit, but but they are not happy like us, because we can take admission anywhere. We can go anywhere. I can give a slight example here. whenever we go to any movie hall, you will find that in movie hall also you will find a separate washroom for male and female, and a separate washroom for handicapped people. But have you ever noticed a separate washroom for this people? No, you will not find it. This is a discrimination. So you can think, you can imagine. So this kind of biasness can create a mental agony to any this person who belongs from this community, from belong to this third gender community. So any person, anything, and if you check the WHO definition of health, अगर आप में से कोई भी WHO का definition अगर देखते हैं health का, you will find that health doesn't means only that you have to physically fit. Health means when you are free from any kind of issue, any kind of medical issue, any kind of tension, then only you will be called to be as a healthy. And for the third gender people, already they had this chromosomal disorder. That is something that create a mental trauma, because you are not male, you are not female, you can't enjoy your life like a other person they do. Okay, and your society, they are not accepting you wholeheartedly. So somewhere this will create a negative impact in your mind, so it will create a mental trauma for you. So this thing can be considered, I'm not saying it should be considered, but yeah, that can be considered under mental illness. And if I talked about US, one of the developed country, so there they had this they considered gender dysphoria as a disability there. So this we can take an example to incorporate this third gender in our disability act. And even they had this case law also. Doe versus Merce is there, then Blood versus Kabila Little case are there, where the court has says that gender disorder is a kind of disability, and because of that reason, they are suffering, and they should be treated like a mental disability under their act. They have already considered that these people are suffering, they had this mental disability because of the gender dysphoria. So when a country, we had this we had this one of the powerful countries example here, where they have considered gender dysphoria as a disability under their act, and they have also considered this as a mental disability. So you can take it as a evidence, you can say, you can take it as a this supportive this supportive law to ask our government that yes, this person should also be treated like that the US they are doing it, because they had a conflict, because these even this American Psychiatric Association, that is APA, one of the famous association that is considered to be famous association for those who are from psychiatric psychiatric field. Okay, they also consider that gender dysphoria means a conflict between a person's physical or assigned gender and the gender with which they identify. Even in there also they have considered is as a kind of this mental trauma, you can say. Now, as I say that these hijras people, they are if I say that economically, so economically or socially, they are their conditions are not so good, because they are either their their main economic support is the begging. You will still now you will find that lots of people are there who used to beg in the traffic signal. You will find many are them are begging in a traffic signal, and many of you think or maybe aware कि इनको देखा देखी कुछ ऐसे लोग भी हैं जो अपने आप को उनके जैसा दिखा के जस्ट पैसा कमाने के लिए एक शॉर्टकट जरिया बना एक शॉर्टकट जरिया उन्होंने बनाया है, बट दे आर नॉट एक्चुअल, दे आर थर्ड जेंडर, बट जस्ट दे आर ट्राइंग टू मेक देमसेल्फ, ताकि वो कुछ पैसा कमा ले भीख मांग के. बट अगर हम एक्चुअल हिजरास का बात करें, सो उनके पास कमाने का बस वो एक ही जरिया है, नाच गाना, किसी के भी फंक्शन में जाके नाच गाना, और है इनके पास भीख मांगना. And why I'm saying that, because till now you will not find not a single school, colleges, university. Yeah, if I talked about university, National Law University Hyderabad, that has become a first campus in India that has become gender neutral, and they have they have bring a policy also for the protection of the third gender. If any student from the third gender community they want to take admission, they can take it, and they can assign themselves a third gender there. So they have framed a policy that is a welcoming step of National University Hyderabad. Okay, but apart from that, either Anyone, if you have ever heard that any school, colleges had any separate policy for the protection of the third gender student, or they had any separate washroom for this third gender people, or they had any separate, like we had boys room, girls room, common room. So whether they had any separate room for third gender, no, you will not find it. It clearly shows that we have not accepted in our wholeheartedly still now. Because if we're accepted it, we should have provided this thing to them also. And apart from that, as I say, that public place, you will not find any laboratories for them. So this is another thing. One more thing, that in prison, recently and I have to take my student to jail visit also. There also I asked the same question, that you don't have any third gender in your jail. So they said, yeah, they do had this third gender people in the prison, and for their security or for their safety person, they have already appointed some other guard so that no can harass them. It means that indirectly they are accepting that third gender people, they are not safe in the male jail also. So these are the lacuna in our law, that irrespective of this act, irrespective of accepting them as a third gender in on paper, but when we talked about the practical applicability of the law, there you will find the lacuna. So these examples clearly speaks about the drawback of our system, of our social system, as well as our legal system. And in one of the research conducted by National Human Rights Commission in 2018, it was found that 92% of transgender were deprived of the right in India. See, we had this NASA judgment in 2014. After that, we had Rapta Singh Johar case. We had this, this Transgender Protection Act also. But even after, this 2014 judgment, when this research was conducted, this clearly shows that most of the transgender people, they are deprived of their right. So now you can see, these are the evidence. These are the data. And national human rights is a government part. So you can't even question them that they have given a false data here. So this clearly shows that how this third gender people, this third gender people, they are forced to work in an undignified manner, and they're forced to work in an undignified situation. And what livelihood they had? Either begging, and some are forced to work as sexual work also. They are working as a sex worker, and in that they are exploited, they were bitten, but no remedy. So these are the lacuna which need to be addressed. And I believe that you all are law student here. You can come forward, you can do more work in this, you can do practical work, you can visit them, you can take interview of them, that what kind of day-to-day problem they are facing. So if we do this kind of field work, you can bring the problem directly, and you can make the submission directly to the government also. Now these are the lacuna that need to be highlighted. And it was only first time in 2011. Okay, in 2011 census only, this third gender population was counted separately. And during that time, official count of third gender was 4.9 lakh. पहला बार इंडिया में 2011 में जब सेंसस काउंट किया गया था, एट दैट टाइम ओनली, वहां पे उस समय जो थर्ड जेंडर का पॉपुलेशन दैट वाज 4.9. बट दिस इज नॉट द एक्यूरेट जेंडर. क्यों? क्योंकि उस समय अपने आप को थर्ड जेंडर बताना ऑल्सो एक काइंड ऑफ ऑफेंस. उनको लोगों के मन में डर था, हमें थर्ड जेंडर बता कहीं हमको 377 में पकड़ ना ले, सेक्शन 377 में अरेस्ट ना कर ले. तो लोग अपना आइडेंटिटी बताना नहीं चाहते. दे जस्ट हाइड द आइडेंटिटी फॉर द सेक ऑफ द प्रोटेक्शन. सो व्हाटएवर यहाँ का जो डाटा, यू विल फाइंड दैट द काउंट विल बी मच हाई, बिकॉज इट वाज आफ्टर 2011 ओनली वी हैड अ जजमेंट ऑफ 2014. बट उसके बाद जो सेंसस होना था वो हुआ नहीं कोविड के चलते. सो नाउ वी डोंट हैव द एक्यूरेट डाटा that how many persons are there from this particular community. So this is also one of the, you can say, yeah, it's actually needed, because unless and until we had data कि हमारे इंडिया में कितने थर्ड जेंडर पीपल है, we won't be able to frame the policy also, because government also need data. कितने लोग हैं, क्या उनको फंड रखना है, what kind of fund they need, कितने उनको allot करना है, for that really need data, and for that we need the field work. Okay, now, and another thing is that, as I say, that the term the disability that has been defined in the Disability Act, okay, if you consider the psychological trauma that they are facing, okay, so on the basis of that you can consider this psychological trait as a mental trauma under section 2I. So this can be, a positive step. If the government consider it, it's good, it for the benefit. If they were consider another, then they might get, admission, or they might get some job protection also, I can say. It's not like कि हमारे पास अभी एग्जाम्पल नहीं है थर्ड जेंडर पीपल के हम अच्छे जॉब में. Yes, we had example from one of third gender who has been selected for judiciary. So yeah, there is an example. So but these examples are few. These are few in number. We need some more people from their community to come forward to have higher education, to get good number of job, because when they will come, other people also come. But for that we have to give that support, we have to create that environment. So on the basis of that, whatever, this lecture I have done, or whatever research I have done still now, on the basis of what I have found that, so on the basis of that, what I can, suggest for the betterment of this community is that, yeah, gender disability or this homophobia condition, that should be included under the Disability Act. But that is actually needed. But I personally feel from my research and the field work that I have conducted. Another thing is that even though we had this Transgender Protection Act, we have assigned them as a third gender, but we have to implement gender neutral law, and we have to provide the basic things that should be available to them when they come out from their home, like in public places. This availability of laboratory for them, okay, that is actually required. And another thing is that, another the main is that whatever, like being a human, we are human. Maybe every person are different in terms of their nature, in terms of their looks, in terms of their height, in terms of their health, everything, okay. So you should not judge a person on the basis of their appearance, because all persons are different, and you cannot discriminate a person on the basis of their appearance. And particularly these third gender people, they are different because of this medical condition. They had this problem, we have to accept it. And in other sense, they are like us only, but the only difference they are having, there is a medical condition. Rest everything, they are like us. So we have to provide that environment, we have to provide a safe, secure environment to them, so that they can accept us and we can accept them as a human being. That is a need, that is the most important part, that we all are human being, and we have to stay together as a human being only. So this was all about today's lecture. So you can, anyone from this platform, now you can ask me the question, and my question is open to you all. I just wanted to know from you that whether you have learned anything new in this lecture. That is the first question. Whatever discussion I have made today, or whatever discussion I have done today, whether you have learned any new thing in this particular lecture that you were not aware of it, that this lecture has given you that information. That is I particularly want to know from you. Anyone? Anyone from here? No one? It was not new to you. It was not interesting for you all.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, a participant is saying about the case, the transgender case, that the murder case. That
Okay,
was, I think, a new learning.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Participants, you all can
Milen
write in
ji.
the chat box or use the raise hand function.
Ma'am, thank you very much. A lot of new things have been added to my knowledge. Basically, the medical differences between the male, female, and the third category, and of course, the legal issues. I think it is about insensitiveness or lack of knowledge amongst the lawmakers, as well as the policy implementers, because few things are left for the executives. And the last things which you pointed out, I would definitely agree with them as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, sort of.
हेलो मैम।
Hello.
जस्ट वन क्वेश्चन। इंडिया में
जी,
थर्ड जेंडर्स के लिए रिजर्वेशन कोटा कितना होता है?
देखो बेटा, पहले तो कैसे रिजर्वेशन कोटा था नहीं। ये सारा जो कोटा वगैरह जो भी है, ये बात का क्रिएशन है। अगर हम पहले का बात करें, पहले ऐसा कोई कोटा था नहीं, ठीक है। हाँ,
ओके।
बट अभी डिसेबिलिटी के बेसिस में में जो डिसेबिलिटी के बारे में जो डिस्क्रिप्शन दिया गया है, तो ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ फैक्ट यस, अभी हमारे जो हैंडीकैप लोग हैं उनके लिए जॉब में डिसेबिलिटी के बेसिस में है आपका क्या रिजर्वेशन है, बट नॉट फॉर थर्ड जेंडर पीपल।
ओके मैम, थैंक यू।
यप यप।
मैम एक पार्टिसिपेंट बोले कि उनका न्यू लर्निंग था।
ओके।
यस मैम। मैम एक पार्टिसिपेंट पूछ रहे हैं दैट आर देयर एनी प्रोविजंस फॉर मेकिंग आधार कार्ड व्हेन अ ट्रांसजेंडर चेंजेस देयर सेक्स एंड चेंजेस देयर नेम, सो invariably changes their identity, so what happens to their old Aadhaar card and their old identity?
देखो, अगर आप पहला थिंग इज दैट आई हैव नॉट सीन प्रैक्टिकली, मैं अभी ऐसा कोई केस मैंने नहीं फेस किया है, बट यस आई कैन गिव यू द आंसर। आंसर ये है कि आधार में आप नाम तो चेंज कर सकते हो, बट रिगार्डिंग द चेंज ऑफ जेंडर, ठीक है, आपने पहले क्या मेंशन किया था और आपने क्योंकि देखो मैंने कहा कि 2011 में लास्ट सेंसस जब काउंट किया था थर्ड जेंडर के लिए अलग सा उसी वक्त काउंट किया गया था, आफ्टर दैट इट वाज नॉट काउंटेड, ठीक है। एंड आफ्टर 2014 नाउ द सुप्रीम कोर्ट दे हैव असाइन दिस कम्युनिटी एज ए थर्ड जेंडर, एंड सुप्रीम कोर्ट वेरी वेरी क्लियर, अगर आपको थर्ड जेंडर अपना असाइन करना है यू कैन असाइन इट। और अभी आप देखना बहुत सारे फॉर्म वगैरह जो आप जॉब के लिए फिल करते हो या कहीं के लिए भी फिल करते हो ना, यू विल फाइंड द ऑप्शन अदर, मेल फीमेल थर्ड जेंडर, और अदर भी आता है, या कहीं कहीं पे मेल फीमेल और अदर का ऑप्शन आता है। तो ऑब्वियसली बात है आधार कार्ड तो अभी अभी बना है, ठीक, आपने अगर आधार कार्ड में अपना अलग जेंडर मेंशन किया और अभी अगर आप अलग जेंडर मेंशन करना चाहते हो, तो ऑब्वियसली देयर विल बी क्वेश्चन कि आपने पहले क्यों ऐसा मेंशन किया, अभी क्यों ये मेंशन कर रहे हैं। तो हो सकता है कि आपको थोड़ा सा दिक्कत जाए लीगली। सो इन दैट केस व्हाट आई विल सजेस्ट कि ऐसा कुछ भी अगर केस होता है, you can directly spoke to a person in the Aadhaar office, they can guide you for that, because हर person का अपना एक रीजन रहता है अपना आइडेंटिटी छुपाने के लिए। और मैं ये इसलिए बोल रही हूँ कि बहुत लोग ऐसे भी हैं जो उसका मिसयूज भी करते हैं। so I don't know the case whether it is a real case or it's a case which is fabricated by the one you know अपना जेंडर जानबूझ के चेंज करना चाहता है, I don't know about it, but yes, if it's a genuine case they can directly talk to the officer from Aadhaar department.
Ma'am, you were telling about some jail that has different safety measures for transgenders. With jail,
Yeah, it was jail, and it was my recent visit also.
which one?
Recently, I visited one of the jail in Raipur, and there I asked the officer in charge that whether you had any, this member from third gender community, and he said yes, we had, and we have, and there is no separate cell for them. But what we have provided separate guards so that no one can harass them.
Right.
That thing I really like. At least they don't have a separate cell there, but at least for their protection, they have appointed guard there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Is
that
there
I
any
said,
is there any NGO from where we can work for their rights or something like that?
look, I don't know from where you are. First of all, you can search in your place if there is any NGO who are working for it. Okay. Or you can search NGO like HRLN, Human Rights Law Network. You can work with them also because they're also one of the
Okay.
NGO who is working for the human right, protection, and they're also working in this area also. So you
Right.
can work
Okay.
with them, you can contact them. And Disha, right? Your name is
Yes.
Disha.
Yes.
May I know you are a student or you are an advocate?
Advocate. So freshly passed out last year.
Okay. Disha, I hope you remember that during my lecture also I told that still now this is one of the area
Yes.
where you will find lots of research, आपको अगर रिसर्च करना है ना तो इस एरिया में अभी भी बहुत सारे स्कोप है रिसर्च करने के लिए, एक बहुत भास्ट एरिया है। आप डॉक्ट्रिनल मतलब ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ लिटरेचर वी हैव सफिशिएंट एविडेंस, हमारे पास सफिशिएंट एविडेंस ये तो है कि दिस थर्ड जेंडर पीपल, ओके, जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने अभी 2014 में जो उनको असाइन किया है, दैट इज समथिंग उनको रीबैक देना, एज आई ऑलरेडी सेज हमारे एंशिएंट वैदिक लिटरेचर में उनके बारे में ऑलरेडी मेंशन है।
Yes.
Okay.
Shikhandi
But
we have.
yes. But we had a gap of communication, you can say, or there is a misconception जो ब्रिटिशर ने क्रिएट किया। उसके बाद अभी भी इतने सारे लॉज आने के बाद भी ये हमारे सोसाइटी में अभी भी क्यों उस चीजों को इनकॉर्पोरेट नहीं किया गया। 2014 का नालसा जजमेंट है और अभी 2024 हो चुका, ऑलमोस्ट 10 years, but still now we had only one university who has made a gender neutral policy for the benefit of the student. बाकी स्कूल कॉलेजेस क्यों नहीं काम कर रहे हैं? वाई दे आर नॉट फ्रेमिंग लॉस फॉर देम? क्योंकि अगर आपको प्रोटेक्शन प्रोवाइड करना है तो आपको उनको दिखाना पड़ेगा वी आर केयर, वी आर एज वी आर thoughtful for you, or we had equal care for you like other. That is the reason I say that this area, this is a vast area where you will be having lots of scope to do research work. आप में से कोई अगर फर्दर पीएचडी करना चाहो ना तो इसमें बहुत अच्छे तरीके से कर सकते हो। एम्पेरिकल वर्क, आप फील्ड वर्क करो, नॉट द
हाँ
लिटरेचर रिव्यू। एम्पेरिकल वर्क करोगे ना, योर वर्क विल बी मैं अब बोल सकती हूँ कि आपका वर्क बहुत अच्छा रहेगा एंड यू कैन डायरेक्टली सबमिट योर फाइंडिंग टू सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ऑल्सो, अगर आपका
राइट
फाइंडिंग अच्छा रहा।
ओके आई check into HRLNNG.
Sure, you can
Okay.
check it.
Thank you,
He
ma'am.
is one of the famous NGO who is working almost in every state of India.
Oh, so Mumbai, where is it in Mumbai?
You have to
Oh,
check
ma'am,
it
it's in
because
Fort area, Fort.
yeah,
Fort area. Oh,
because
wonderful.
when I was in college at that time, I used to voluntarily work for them
Okay.
at Kolkata. Yeah.
In Mumbai, there is one more NGO called Gaurav. Even they work for transgender community.
Okay.
मैं
They have their office
रायपुर
in
में,
Juhu.
या आई कैन गिव सर्टेन एग्जांपल। मैं रायपुर से बिलोंग करती हूँ, तो रायपुर में यहाँ एक कैफेटेरिया है जहाँ पे सिर्फ ये ट्रांसजेंडर वाले ही
Ah,
आपको
yes,
खाना
they've
सर्व करते
started
हैं।
it. Yes.
या वी हैड सच काइंड ऑफ लाइक ओपनिंग फॉर देम, जहाँ वो आके अपना एम्प्लॉयमेंट या उनको एक एम्प्लॉय अपॉर्चुनिटी प्रोवाइड किया जा रहा है, सो दैट वो जो बेगिंग वाला पार्ट है कि उनको फोर्सफुली सेक्स वर्क करना पड़ा है, सेक्स
Yes.
वर्कर काम करना पड़ता है, कैन स्टॉप इट। Because if they had dignified job, obviously they will change their position also, their thought process will also change.
Yeah, and then and their situation will also change.
Yes, definitely. क्योंकि एक कहावत है ना, एक आगे बढ़ेगा उसको देख के पीछे से और लोग आएंगे।
Right.
या सो वी हैव टू प्रोवाइड द हैंड टू देम। हमको बस अपना हाथ बढ़ाना है उनके लिए कि आप भी आओ, आपके साथ और भी आए। बट ये हाथ बढ़ाने वाले लोग ही बहुत कम है हमारे यहाँ पे, उसी का ही ड्रॉबैक चले, वही लेकुना है।
Basically, the gap you were talking about, that gap we have to fill and make a bridge out of it.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes,
Ma'am,
Saurabh. हाँ Saurabh, yes, you can ask the question if you had.
ma'am, meanwhile, there's a question in the chat box. There was a report that transgender are affected with AIDS. So, are there any government initiatives that have been taken to combat the AIDS problem that was spreading in this community?
ये तो ऑलरेडी गवर्नमेंट के बहुत सारे इवन जो एड्स का जो मैटर है, ऑलरेडी फैमिली प्लानिंग वगैरह में भी इसका पॉलिसीज वगैरह है। तो गवर्नमेंट के इसमें काफी सारे पॉलिसीज, काफी सारे इसमें है जो एड्स के रोकने के लिए उनके पेशेंट्स को उनके मेडिसिन वगैरह फैसिलिटी वगैरह देने के लिए भी। एंड इवन आई थिंक देयर इज जजमेंट ऑल्सो सुप्रीम कोर्ट, जहाँ पे आप एड्स के बेसिस पे किसी को ये नहीं कर सकते हो, डिस्क्रिमिनेट नहीं कर सकते हो, जॉब से निकाल भी नहीं सकते हो।
Okay. Ma'am, next question. What is the legal process of sex change? Is there any legal process that gives protection and
Yeah,
safeguards the
yes, that I will
medical procedure?
It's a good question. Yeah. If anyone want to change their sex, then they can go for the sex change surgery. And once the surgery is complete, from there only they will be assigned you the new sex, and that only you have to update it. Like आप देखोगे ना, कोई भी आप नया डॉक्यूमेंट में कुछ नया चेंज करते हो तो आपको न्यूज़पेपर में ऐड देना रहता है। The same process applies here also. If you want to change your sex through medically, then you have to go for the sex in surgery, and after the surgery, whatever sex has been assigned to you, that can use it in your document.
Is it compulsory to do the sex change operation in a government hospital?
No, ma'am. It totally depends upon so wherever you want. But yeah,
Okay.
it's a costly surgery with full of risks.
Okay.
There was one boy from Guwahati. Okay. I read this
Okay.
article when I was doing this research, so that's why I remember this case. So he was by birth he was male actually, but he
Hmm.
felt himself as a female. When he discussed this with his family member, they were not agreed because he was the only child in their family, and male child
Yes.
also. So he flew from his house, he came to Mumbai, he worked there, and after working so many years, he changed his sex through surgery,
Okay.
and he became female.
Okay.
I think you can find the same example from Bollywood also.
Yeah.
Yes,
There is one
ma'am.
case in Bollywood also.
Yes.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, my question is, what does that Q in LGBTQ stands for?
LGBTQ.
Q, yeah.
LG. Okay, Q is the queer community. Q is the
Okay.
queer. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So, who are they normally?
They are also kind of, like L stand for lesbian.
Yeah.
Okay. Then G stand for gay.
Yes.
Then LGB. B stand for bisexual.
Okay.
T stands for trans. Q is
Okay.
the queer community. Okay. They're also like person who are, you can say like, yeah, apart from this, if any other persons are remaining to confront their, this not identification about their view leading to what kind of they are, whom they like, they are have been kept in the queer community.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ma'am, one more question in the chat box. Which country has the best protection measures for transgender community?
Look, no country is safe for transgender community, first of all. Yeah, different countries have different laws for their protection. Like I say that in US, they have kept this gender dysphoria as, in their laws. So this is something different and it's a good also. So every country had their own laws. But the thing is that if I talked about the protection, the no country is safe. I cannot say at this platform that this country is particularly safe for the transgender community because everywhere you will find that these people are suffering.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, I think we are done with the questions.
Okay.
So, ma'am, should we end the session?
Yeah, ma'am, you can.
Okay, ma'am. And ma'am, any books that you would suggest or any study material on this
Like
topic?
yeah, you can find lots of book which has been published in by the foreign author. So you can search those books because if you no go through these foreign books written by the author and you will find lots of books have been published in Springer also. So if you go through that book, you will have a brief idea about their suffering, their issues. So right now, I won't be able to tell you any particular book because you have to check it because what you want to know, particularly what you want to know about them. If you want to know about them, about the medical issue, then you have to check medical books for them. But if you have to check about the social suffering, then in that case, you have to check book from sociology. And if you have to check about the human right issue, then you have to check the law books which have been written particularly for their protection. So on the basis of your thought, on the basis of your query, you have to check that book.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. So with this, we formally conclude today's session. Thank you so much for illuminating us on this subject and also sensitizing all of us on this topic. So there was so much to learn from this. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Ma'am. Thank you, everyone.